Well, let's do a good show. Hey, everybody, how's it going? It is Monday night. It's 7 p.m. We're a little off of our regular time, which is usually Monday night at 6. But that's fine. It's Monday night at 7 p.m., and it's time for AEW Weekly. And
Yeah.
we're back after a 1 week absence. Sorry about that. Um, Show just wasn't going to happen last week. Everything seemed to be against the show happening last week, so it just wasn't going to happen. But we're back.
Great explanation.
Yeah, all the forces in the universe seem to be against the show happening last week, so we're back this week, and we got a good show for you. And well, I didn't even introduce myself, so I'm one of your hosts, Asa. Hey. Right here is my permanent co-host, Kay Fabulous.
Hey.
And we didn't, so this is gonna be a shorter show than usual. We only had Dynamite this week. There was no Collision because of the NCAA tournament, which was pretty entertaining in its own right, but you're not here for that.
Well, there was Rampage too, but we don't usually cover Rampage.
Well, right, yeah, we don't talk about Rampage because the main storylines don't usually carry over on Rampage. We talk about the shows where the storylines take place, which will be Dynamite, Collision, and the pay-per-views. But yeah, the show will be, like I said, a little shorter than usual because just Dynamite this week out of the main two shows. So we'll do a recap and then do a normal show though. So we have some things to talk about still. I'm going to do this recap pretty quick, and then we'll get into talking about some stuff. Mm-hmm. AEW Dynamite, March 20th, 2024, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Home of Adam Copeland, home of Christian Cage, home of, what else they got? Maple Syrup.
Wait, are they both originally from there?
I believe so.
I don't think so.
What else is in Toronto?
The Raptors.
Home of the Toronto Raptors. Home of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
The Blue Jays? Are they
home of the Toronto Blue Jays?
That's all I got. Oh, the Toronto...
home of the Kids in the Hall. Most importantly...
Is there a comedy festival there every year?
That I don't know about.
Oh, it's Montreal. Never mind.
Home of the Kids in the Hall, though. If you're young and you don't know the Kids in the Hall... If you like comedy, look up the Kids in the Hall.
One cool thing about Toronto, because my parents went there to see the Red Sox play the Blue Jays, because my parents like to travel to see the Red Sox. Anyway, one cool thing is that their bike lanes have traffic lights. Like, so many people bike there that there's actually like a stoplight that changes for the bike lanes. I think that's super cool.
Does it change? It changes at the same time as the car.
Whenever right? It's time for it. Well, it's whenever it's time for the bikes to go. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Why can't they just look at the one for the cars?
Well, that's why I think maybe it's not the exact same time as the cars. Like, maybe if it's
they get a head start, maybe.
Well, I was thinking like for like turn lanes, perhaps, so that they don't get run over by cars that are trying to turn at the same time they're trying to turn. I don't know. I haven't been to Toronto. I'm just telling you what my parents showed me pictures of.
I see.
I'll let you investigate that on your own after the show.
Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, Toronto. They show Adam Copeland, and he's walking. They show TNT champion Christian Cage, and he's walking. They show someone pull up in an awesome red car. They're not walking, and it's Okada. Next, Tony Schiavone brings out Mercedes Moné. She plays a highlight film from her time in New Japan. She talks about how awesome she is. The lights go off, they come back on, and Sky Blue comes in to attack. Moné handles her. Julia Hart attacks Moné. Moné is about to hit her finisher when Sky Blue revives and pulls Julia Hart out of the ring. The heels get steel chairs, and all of a sudden, Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander arrive with steel chairs of their own. The lights go off again, and the heels have vanished. So that leaves Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Mercedes Moné. just standing there. They've vanquished the heels for now.
Wait, no, you're leaving out a super important part.
What?
When the lights come back on and you see that Julia Hart and Sky Blue have disappeared, Willow is holding a chair this behind Mercedes Moné, like she's about to attack her, and Mercedes turns around and Willow drops the chair and is like, no. Yeah, that's super important. That's like the story that's being built.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next, Alex Marvez is hyping a match when the Elite arrive. Okada says he's coming for Kingston's title. And then finally we have a match. It is the Continental Championship match. So they're breaking up the Triple Crown title. For some reason, I don't know why they went through all the trouble of uniting them in the awesome tournament that we had. The Continental, what was it called? The Continental Championship Tournament?
Continental Classic.
Continental Classic. I don't know why they went through all the trouble of doing that.
Did you read Tony Khan's thing?
No.
Okay, so I read Tony Khan's thing. And seemingly, the Continental Classic was happening. Eddie Kingston volunteered at the beginning of the tournament to put his 2 other belts on the line, in addition with the Continental Classic, thus making the Continental Crown. But once Eddie Kingston won and retained his 2 belts that he already had and just gained a 3rd, that they were never like formally unified as a unit. He just held these 3 belts instead of 1 belt representing all 3. So this match is for the Continental Championship, not for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight, and not for the New Japan Strong Openweight.
Stupid.
Super confusing.
Stupid and confusing, yeah. More importantly, confusing, yeah, for the fans. Why we go through all this trouble of having a tournament and putting them all together? Just to separate them.
Because the tournament wasn't to put them together. The tournament was to crown the Continental Championship. Which, after that process had started...
It was also to put them together.
No. After that process started, Eddie Kingston came forward and said...
I heard you. You just said it. I heard you.
Yeah, I stand confused, so...
Anyway, so we have a Continental Championship match. Eddie Kingston defending against Kazuchika Okada. Pretty good match here. Okada hit a Rainmaker on Kingston for the pin and the win. We have a new champion. And 4 bones out of 5, the match was. Good match. Okada, it'll be interesting to see how he defends the title, who he defends it against, for sure. And we'll move on from there. Up next, Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana are with Renee. Swerve says his sights are still on Samoa Joe's world title. He said tonight he's issuing an open challenge, and he wants someone big. Next, Renee is with Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Stokely Hathaway. After that, we get a non-title match. FTW champion Hook versus Chris Jericho. Hook reversed a pin to get the win. This was a good match. Very interesting. Very different style than I thought it was going to be. Very much a wrestling match. 4 bones out of 5. Go back and watch this one if you missed it. But a very cool match that Hook and Chris Jericho put on. Very different kind of match.
Can I complain about something for a second?
Okay.
I do not like that they're bringing back Lionheart Jericho.
Why is that?
Because that's not the AEW Jericho that I know and love. I want Judas Jericho.
I hear you.
And like, it's almost like you could hear the crowd audibly like sigh when he came out as Lionheart because they didn't get to sing a song. And he was in Toronto and he's Canadian. And they wanted to sing a song. And I wanted them to get to sing his song.
Yeah. And Lionheart Jericho is from like 1995. You know, that's when he first was starting out down in Mexico.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Well, from not AEW. I think if you're going to take a WWE wrestler and bring them to AEW and give him like this new identity and package or whatever, he should stick to that.
I wouldn't necessarily call him a WWE wrestler. He's wrestled everywhere.
Yeah, but people know him mostly from WWE. in WCW.
Well, WWE, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But he's wrestled everywhere. So. Next, Adam Cole is in some sort of evil study. Wasn't it?
Yeah. It looks like the Masterpiece Theater.
Yeah.
room
So I don't know
from
where
PBS.
where he's supposed to be, but it was like an evil
version
study.
of
Yeah.
that.
Adam Cole addresses Wardlow, calls him a disappointment because he couldn't win the AEW World Title. Cole says Wardlow's new job is to protect the gold that the Undisputed Kingdom does have. So protect the international title and protect the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. And so the Undisputed Kingdom, I don't know what they're doing with them.
It's weird that he doesn't say to also help them get more gold.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
he would be way more useful helping the Undisputed Kingdom win the AEW tag titles because they're in the tournament.
Right.
So I thought that was odd that they left that out.
Yeah. It's strange. Next, Chris Jericho is with Renee, and Jericho says Hook is a future world champion. He's has a lot of positive words about Hook, who just beat him. And Jericho also says he has a proposition for Hook next week on Dynamite, and we're going to talk about that later. Up next, Tony Schiavone brings out Will Ospreay. Ospreay, the crowd goes fucking wild for him. He praises Bryan Danielson versus Shibata on Collision as being a fantastic match. And Ospreay challenges Shibata next week on Dynamite. And that's going to be a pretty good one, I believe.
Awesome.
And Ospreay on the mic, man, he's so entertaining on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good. It's a very good segment. He's endearing himself to the AEW fans for sure.
It's worked. I'm endeared.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Up next, we got a TNT title match hype video, and then a women's tag match. We got Mariah May and AEW Women's World Champion Toni Storm, accompanied by Luther, taking on Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa.
Purrazzo.
What did I say?
Purrazzo.
Okay, Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa. Rosa and Purrazzo won when Rosa countered a pile driver into a pin and pinned Toni Storm. How about that? Thunder Rosa pinned the Women's World Champion.
Awesome.
Good tag match. 4 bones out of 5. Everyone was good in this. Good match.
It was so exciting to see these 4 women in a ring together.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Yeah, very good. Very good stuff. Up next, Swerve Strickland, accompanied by Prince Nana. He got his big surprise match, and it was the Butcher, which that's pretty cool. But what wasn't so cool was it ended up being a squash match. Swerve won with an arm scissor submission hold. After the match, Swerve talks shit about AEW World Champion Samoa Joe, who then comes out. And then Don Callis comes out. And he challenges Konosuke Takeshita to face Swerve Strickland. And Swerve accepts. So I'm not sure when that match is going to be.
I thought it was on Dynamite for next week.
I think Dynamite for next week, yeah, but I'm not sure.
Or now this week, I guess.
I'm not sure. Yeah, 2 days from now, Dynamite. So Dynamite is looking like a good show with Will Ospreay versus Shibata and possibly Takeshita versus Swerve Strickland. I don't know if that's confirmed. We should look at that. Up next, the main event, the AEW TNT title I Quit match with Christian Cage, accompanied by the Patriarchy, defending against Adam Copeland. And this was a good one, really wild. The Patriarchy come in. No disqualification, of course. So the Patriarchy are all in there.
But they're not at first. He comes out by himself.
Right, yeah. No, but I'm saying eventually.
Yeah, but I just didn't want when you said accompanied by, I didn't want you to think that they walked out with them.
Right, yeah. Eventually, the Patriarchy are all involved in the match. And then eventually, on Copeland's side, Daniel Garcia and Daddy Magic are involved on his side. So you got a 3 on, what is that? 3 on 3.
3 on 4.
3 on 4?
If you count Mother Wayne.
If you count Mother Wayne, who did a little and eventually ended up running away. But it ended, Copeland beat Cage when Cage said, "I quit," before Copeland could hit him in the head with Spike, his custom, whatever the hell you call it, custom
2x4?
Custom thing with a bunch of spikes in it.
It's worth noting that at the time, Christian was handcuffed to the turnbuckle, so he couldn't fight back.
Yeah, and the faces, and go back 1 second here. Mind Runner saying Swerve versus Takeshita will be fire. Yes, it definitely will. Yeah, that'll be hot. But yeah, in a very heelish move, the faces handcuffed the heels to the corners of the ring.
Yeah, all 3 of them.
Yeah, and then Adam Copeland kicked Christian Cage in the nuts about 7 times, and then hit him in the leg with Spike, and then was about to hit him in the face, and that's when Christian Cage said, "I quit."
I thought he was supposed to have hit him in the nuts with Spike, not the leg.
I think he was, but it very obviously was the leg. I believe.
Well, I mean, hopefully.
I believe from what I saw, I believe it was. And Mind Runner here said, "I totally thought that they were going to do the Rock versus Foley finish where Christian plays a clip of Copeland saying 'I quit' from a previous promo. I would have hated if they did that. I hated when they did that to Mick Foley back in 1999. That was Royal Rumble 1999. It made me so mad. Made me so mad. Because it made me mad because Mick Foley would never quit, 1. And number 2, I knew all these idiots wouldn't understand what happened. They wouldn't understand that it was a recording that had played, and all these idiots would think that Mick Foley quit. That's what made me mad. So, anyway, so that was Dynamite this week. Pretty good Dynamite. Pretty darn good show, I thought. And and that match, it was wild. I give it 4.5 bones. That was the match of the night, the TNT Championship match of the night for sure.
And then match of the week because that was the only show that week.
And the match of the week, yeah, because that was the only show. Yeah, good call. And so now we're going to do the segment called A Closer Look. And we're going to take a closer look at one of the newer AEW stars this week. And it is Mercedes Moné.
Money.
What? Moné? Moné? She says money.
She says money.
That's true. She says money. Okay.
It's like Monet and Manet, the painters,
But the painter was Monet.
There was Monet, and then there was a
Manet.
Yeah.
But she's Monet.
She's Monet.
Monet. Monet. Ma. I know.
Yeah.
Monet.
Yeah.
She's Mercedes Monet.
According to her. Anyway.
Anyways. So she's arrived in AEW after a long absence because of an ankle injury that she suffered in New Japan. And immediately has made an impact on the storylines, at least. She's the... It's odd how they've used her at first. She has nothing to do with the world title. They didn't insert her into the world title picture right away, which a lot of people thought they should do and would do. But what they have done is they've inserted her into the TBS title picture, dealing with Julia Hart and Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander and all of them.
I feel like Julia Hart's a secondary story. I think the story that they're telling with her is that of a revenge story.
The story they're telling with who?
With Mercedes.
Moné?
Yeah.
A revenge story against whom?
Against Willow.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it's building. I don't feel like it's necessarily building. I think she will eventually have a TBS title match, but I feel like it's heading to the Willow direction more importantly first.
Yeah, but she's involved in the CBS title scene. Willow. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I see.
So that's where Monet has been sent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's kind of strange to me.
I like it though, because it would feel out of place to me as an AEW fan who hasn't seen Mercedes Moné wrestle since she was Sasha Banks. So it's been a while. So it'd be weird to me for her to jump ahead of all of these other women who are already in line for the Toni Storm title to just be there suddenly. Like, I feel like they're trying to establish more of a character for her than they did for, like, Deonna, for example, who they immediately put in that women's world title scene, you know?
Mm-hmm. And Mindrunner here saying, will Statlander or Willow turn heel, or both? What is Stokely up to?
Stokely's up to no good, and I love it.
So what do you think? Will Statlander or Willow turn heel?
I think Statlander will turn heel. Up until this past week, I would have said Willow will never, ever turn heel because she's too much of a baby face.
Yeah.
And when she was trying to do that whole, like, depressed Julia Hart spat in my face thing, like, it did not work with her.
They can't turn her heel.
But with
That'd be stupid.
Like, if Mercedes is the face, though, they got to turn her a little bit of a heel if she's going to have a storyline with her.
Yeah, correct.
And they did just show her about to hit Mercedes with a chair before Mercedes noticed. So what do you think? But I think Chris will turn heel eventually. Although then they're running out of, like, faces, right?
Yeah, yes. But Monet just showed up.
Yeah.
And Jamie Hayter will be back soon. Yeah. But I guess, I don't know, she'll be a face or a heel.
She'll be face.
She'll be face?
Thunder Rosa's face.
Yeah. So they've got some faces.
Mm-hmm. Riho.
They're fine.
Hikaru Shida, yeah. Yeah, I guess they have plenty of faces.
What is Stokely up to?
Oh, I think Stokely is trying to get Statlander to become evil like him.
Yeah.
I love him so much. I was so sad when he disappeared from AEW and was just on Ring of Honor, but I'm just so glad that they brought him back. He was just delightful in his first, like, AEW run, you know?
He's pretty funny.
He's hilarious.
Pretty funny. He's an entertaining character, that's for sure, yeah. But we'll see what happens there. I'm not sure. It's an interesting story, and you got, you know, Monet there is the crux of the story. It's going to affect what happens with Nightingale and Statlander, and then also will affect, of course, you know, Sky Blue and Julia Hart's characters to a lesser extent. So it's an interesting story they've got going there. But, you know, one of the big questions, you know, that Tony probably, we don't know the amount of the contract, wasn't made public, but obviously one of the big questions about this whole deal is, will she be the same wrestler? She hasn't wrestled for nearly 2.5 years. Injured ankle. You know, will she be the same? Huh?
It's not been 2.5 years.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it's been like 2.5 years. Yes. Yeah, time flies. Yeah, it has been. Yes, it has been.
That's crazy. That does not sound right.
Yeah, well, that's right. I believe I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time.
I would have guessed like a year and a half.
No, it's been like, yeah, say 2.25 years. It's been over 2 years. Anyways, but that's the question: is, you know, will she be the same wrestler now? Did Tony? Did he get what he paid for? You know, what do you think? What's gonna turn out there?
I think she'll be fine.
You think she'll be fine?
I think she'll be fine.
You're basing this on
past wrestlers that have had leg injuries that have come back and been fine.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm sure that She's had like in-ring practice and stuff since her injury, a part of the physical therapy process, I'm sure, for getting a wrestler back into wrestling condition is to have practice bouts. At least we saw them doing that on the AEW All Access with like Adam Cole and stuff. So I'd imagine that's the same for a leg injury.
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
Yeah, no, I'm sure she's been in the ring a bit. Yeah. I'm sure.
I also think you're wrong about it being 2.5 years.
Well, I'm not. So, and here, Mind Runner says, "What if Statlander hits Mercedes with a chair, then throws the chair to Willow, pulling an Eddie Guerrero and making it seem like Willow did it?"
Ooh. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think that's a way to
turn Willow heel, but not really
really,
make her a heel.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. I like that. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, that would be a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mind Runner. That would be a good way to do it. So my other question about Mercedes Moné is, at some point she's got to wrestle. So who comes first? Who does she wrestle first? Who do you put her out there in the ring with first? Sky Blue. Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I don't think you put her. I don't want a squash match. I want like an actual match to be her first match. And I don't want the story to get rushed between her and Julia, and I don't want the story to get rushed between her and Willow. And since Statlander is still a face right now, I think Sky Blue makes sense. Plus, it would not be surprising if Sky Blue lost to Mercedes. And so I feel like that's a good person that's used to getting beat up.
Mm. Yeah, makes sense.
Because most of the jobbers that they have that are women that aren't like super jobbers, like local talent kind of jobbers.
Right.
Most of them are faces. So I don't know what heel jobber you would have her wrestle.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking jobbers. I'm talking real members of the roster.
So I would say Sky Blue.
Real members of the roster.
What do you think?
I might go with your Sky Blue. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. And I mean, it needs to be someone in that program, so you're not confusing people by taking her out of that storyline. And it seems like Sky Blue would be the one. Sky Blue or Julia Hart in a. Yeah, I don't know. Well, you could do a title match. Why not?
And just give her the belt
TBS
right away,
title
or have
match.
her lose to Julia Hart.
Yeah, why not? Why not give her the belt? Give her the TBS title right away. Why not? People would love it. Give her a belt right away. She's a big star. Give her a belt. People love it when people they love win belts and can go around and show their belt off at different arenas and all that stuff. And they love taking pictures of stars with belts. Yeah, give her a belt.
In her first match, you want to give her a belt?
Why not? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, why not?
I don't love that idea. I love the idea of taking the belt off of Julia Hart, but I don't know about giving it to Mercedes.
So Mind Runner is saying, I think Mercedes was injured in May of 2023 when Willow beat her for...
In your face!
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yes! Thank you, Mind Runner.
Thank you for keeping us straight. I appreciate it.
Because I knew it was last year, because Willow had the belt last year, and I was so excited last year that she finally got a belt.
Man, I don't know why I was thinking 2 years. I don't know why I was thinking 2 years.
I'm never right, and he's never wrong, so it's really exciting for me when I get to be the one.
Especially about wrestling. I'm very rarely wrong about wrestling.
That's exciting.
But I was wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong.
And now I have a recording that I can just watch and play to myself when I'm feeling bad about myself. That says that.
So thank you, Mind Runner. I appreciate that.
Thank you
For keeping the facts. The facts in the argument here. I appreciate that. And he says, I agree about Sky Blue being the first match. Yeah, that would be a good way to go. Either Sky Blue or Julia Hart. It makes the most sense. Either.
Julia Hart's too soon. They spent all that time with the undefeated whatever record that Julia Hart had. Not undefeated, but she was on that win streak for ever. and then she finally got the title. She's had like 2 defenses of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Since she got it. So like to give it to put all that time into Julia for her just to immediately lose it on regular TV to Mercedes, I feel like that's too soon.
I think it'd be just fine. Be just fine.
So is that our closer look at Mercedes?
This has been a closer look at Mercedes Moné. Yes. And Mind Runner also added Sasha did get injured way back in January of 2022, but she was back in a month. So our next segment is called Where's This Going? And this is where we take some things from TV this past week and we ask the question, where's this going? So first off, we're going to talk about Adam Cole putting Wardlow in his new role in the Undisputed Kingdom of protecting the gold that they have. So how do you see this going, Kay? He's put him in the role of protecting the Kingdom's Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles and protecting Roderick Strong's international title.
I don't care for it.
You don't care for it?
No. I feel like they had such a good thing going and they just keep fucking it up, you know?
I agree.
Like the Wardlow match against Samoa Joe was too soon if they weren't ready to give Wardlow the belt.
Right. It was too soon if they weren't ready. Yeah, you said it just right.
And it would have been fine for them to just pull the trigger on it and give it to Wardlow.
Yeah.
Joe had enough defenses, I feel like, at that point where it wouldn't be embarrassing to lose it.
Right.
Plus, you could always have the Undisputed Kingdom do like shady things to help him win it.
Yep.
And it wouldn't look bad on Joe. And you could still have Swerve going after it. Like, I don't feel like it would have hurt anything for him to get the belt.
Mm-hmm.
But with him not getting it, and like, I'm glad that they went at it from like an Adam Cole is angry about this angle, because it would have made less sense if they didn't. But for his response to be, well, now you're just going to help us keep the gold that we have, and not being like, go back after the title, you know? Or, because like the whole thing about this, I thought, was that he wants that AEW title. Adam Cole
world title.
Yeah, for himself.
Right.
And his plan while injured was to get Wardlow to get it and then make him hand it to him, which already had like a built-in ready-made feud for whenever they felt like pulling the trigger on that. And by not giving Wardlow the belt, just like muddies the waters of this story.
So now Adam Cole is just going to be patient and wait until he's healed? Is that what we're to think, you know?
Which is not in character with the person we've been presented.
Exactly. Not in character at all. It doesn't make sense. I don't get where this announcement comes from. It doesn't make sense for his character.
It also doesn't make sense because the Undisputed Kingdom won those belts cleanly. And Roderick Strong won his belt cleanly. So if they're this super awesome, badass faction, why do they need a protector to make sure they don't lose their belts? Why can't they just wrestle because they're good wrestlers and keep the belts?
Well, to get heel heat.
Yeah, but I just feel like if you want this faction to be imposing and impressive, being like, hey, you need a babysitter to make sure you don't drop your belts, it just weakens
to get heel heat. Just to get heel heat. Yeah. I mean, it works. It works.
But I feel like you can have them involved without having a decree. Like, this is now your job. That's what I feel like makes it look weak. Like, your role in this faction is to now not have matches necessarily, not go after anything on your own, but just protect what the other people have.
Well, obviously, the point of Adam Cole making this a decree is that somehow Wardlow is going to break it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, he wouldn't come on TV and make this decree unless Wardlow is going to break it.
Yeah.
But so how is he going to break it? By what? By not being there, by someone someone wins the Ring of Honor tag team titles, or by Wardlow going after his own belt again. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
So how's Wardlow going to break this new role? That's the question. That's the only question, is how is Wardlow going to break it?
I don't know. I don't think that it seems logical for, like, if Wardlow decides to go after the world title again or the TNT title, it doesn't make sense that Adam Cole would be like upset about that. So I feel like if you want him to like break this agreement, he's gonna have to not show up for the guys or not protect them and cause someone to lose their belt or belts. But I feel like for that to have the most impact, Roderick Strong would have to be the one to lose his belt because Wardlow didn't interfere, because that belt's way more important on AEW TV anyway than the Ring of Honor tag belts, which are never defended.
Yeah. That's a shame. Because really, if you look back, you would think the Ring of Honor tag belts would be way more sought after than the AEW International belt. I mean, the Ring of Honor tag belts have had some pretty illustrious owners over the years.
I care way more about them than the AEW tag belts.
I mean, they've had, the Briscoes, the Hardy Boys, the Young Bucks, etc. And those are just to start with. Some of the teams who have held them. I mean, that's a pretty good list just to start with, those three teams. It makes it better than the international title, I think. But you're right. The international title is more important on TV now than the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but the Undisputed Kingdom, or the Kingdom, whatever you want to call the tag team in the Undisputed Kingdom. I don't know if they're referred to as the Kingdom or the Undisputed Kingdom. We have debates about this, but they're in the tag tournament for the AEW titles. So maybe he could cost them getting the AEW titles, instead of causing. Because I mean, if he's going to cause them to lose the Ring of Honor tag titles, like how long is it going to be before there's a match where they defend those? If their focus right now is on the AEW tag titles, unless the story blades over to Ring of Honor and they defend them on Super Card of Honor and he costs them the win there, maybe.
Speaking of which, how many matches have they had in that tournament? One?
No.
How many?
I have it in our news.
But
they're in the quarterfinals now. No, so they've had
two.
Well,
they've had two at least.
Yeah, because they had the wild card match with House of Black and the Infantry.
Yeah.
And then on Rampage this week, they had the Don Callis family of Hobbs and Fletcher versus Best Friends, which is Orange Cassidy.
Oh, we gotta watch
Trent
Rampage.
Loretto.
I didn't realize we were missing them by not watching. Oh shit. Oh.
Yeah. So now we're in the quarterfinals and there's 4 teams
we gotta watch Rampage.
4 matches with 8 teams.
Yeah. We gotta watch Rampage then. Okay. What was I saying before we talked about the tag team title tournament though? Oh, talking about Wardlow. So yeah, it's just a question of what's his role going to be, and they've taken his character and they built it up. They built it up with the squash matches. They built it up with some good promos, some very good promos on his part, where it looked like he was ready for a world title just on his promos and the way that they presented him for a couple weeks there. It seemed like he was primed to maybe get the world title. At least to be looked at as that type of a main eventer. But once again, it's one of those stop start Tony Khan booking decisions where he pushes where he starts it and stops it, start and stop. And I don't get. Sometimes I just do not understand the way that man books things, and this was one of those that, I mean, unpredictability is good, but it's not good when it doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm hoping that this is a small part of a larger plan that he has, not just for the Undisputed Kingdom, but also for the world title reigns in the future, And I feel like I agree with you about Wardlow's promos. They have been just awesome recently, leading up to that match. But I didn't feel like he was ready for a world title reign solely because of all those squash matches. Like, Joe was the first actual opponent that he's faced that I can name in like recent memory, which for me is not very long because my memory is really bad. But still, my point, like, he's had nothing but squash matches. So yes, he's won over and over again, and he appeared to be these monsters, but he's wrestling like twigs, nameless twigs. And if you want to get someone over as being this awesome wrestler who can dominate anyone, you need to let him dominate anyone and not just local talent,
No, I got you. But yeah, so Wardlow stuck at sea, stuck in the middle of the ocean. His character adrift. No idea what's going on. We'll see what they do with him. I don't know what they're thinking. So
I thought you meant like sea level, like you know how we have like A level and B level talent. When you said stuck at sea, I thought you meant like sea level. Like, that's pretty harsh.
Nah. So who knows what they're gonna do next with him? I don't know, and I don't know. Losing Samoa Joe clean, that really hurt him. That really just sent him back 2 steps. Mindrunner says, do you think they are waiting for MJF to return to perpetuate the Wardlow Adam Cole story? Yes. Yeah. So I don't know how long it is until MJF returns. From the descriptions that we got when MJF went out injured, it still seems like months from now, even.
They were saying 6 to 8 months, and that was in January.
Right. So July through September, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I understand them wanting to wait, but like, you can't tread water with a big focus point of your storytelling for that long.
Right.
And have it be good, Yeah. Like, the audience will eventually notice that you're just treading water.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing for Wardlow, but they can't. Yeah, they're hurting his character right now. Yeah. That's what they just did with that clean loss to Samoa Joe. That hurt him. I feel like that hurt his character, and part of why it hurt his character so much is because they don't put him up against other talents. They just put him in these squash matches, and then when he does finally face someone of note, he just beats him clean in the middle of the ring.
And, like, pretty quickly.
Yeah, so they need to put Wardlow up against some other, main roster guys and have him get some wins that matter and bring him back, bring his character back.
I mean, I feel like at Revolution...
That's what they got to do with him.
At Revolution, they saw how much the audience enjoys having the meat men wrestle each other.
Yeah.
So why not have him face Lance Archer or Powerhouse Hobbs or Miro when he's not injured anymore? I mean, get him against some big men.
Yeah, I agree.
Big Bill, Brian Cage, any members of the Gates of Agony. Lots of options.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Mindrunner says meat. I agree. Yeah. So we'll leave that off there. Next up in Where's This Going? What is Chris Jericho's proposition for Hook on AEW Dynamite in 2 days? What's going on?
I have such a hard time with like face Chris Jericho, then in my mind I'm like, it can't be anything good.
Yeah.
But he's a face now, and so I have no idea. Like, it's much more easy. It's much easier to think of like diabolical plans than like what could he be doing? That's like,
I mean, they're already a tag team.
Well, they've tagged like once, haven't they?
They tagged several times.
Oh, have they? Okay.
At least twice,
Okay.
I believe. At least twice, maybe 3 times.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was...
And they have a name, Lion Hook.
Oh.
Unofficial name.
Oh, is that why we're getting Lionheart? So they could call him Lion Hook?
I don't know.
Because Judas Hook doesn't sound good?
I don't know. But Lion Hook is their unofficial name. So what's the proposition going to be?
I mean, is Chris Jericho going to start his, like, what is this? Would it be like his 3rd faction in AEW?
Right, yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I could think of.
A face faction?
Face faction. I don't know who else would be in it.
Mind Runner there says, Hook become the new Lionheart? Could be.
Like a passing of the torch.
Pass the torch, yeah.
I don't know if Jericho wants to. Jericho doesn't want to look like he's that close to like a retirement move, though.
Yeah.
Not that would retire him, but I feel like passing one of his names to another wrestler would seem like a step on the path to retirement. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he's trying to like separate that in fans' minds from like anything that's in his near future.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, I think he would be upset if he got the, like, you still got it chance, during his matches. Like, I feel like he would be emotionally wounded by that.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to see himself as one of the old guys, but, I mean, he needs to face it. He's one of the old guys now.
Yeah.
Mind Runner here says, the even more appreciative Jericho Appreciation Society.
I love it.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, Jericho is. I mean, I like Jericho, but he is one of the old guys now, and he can still go. We saw it with Will Ospreay last year. Mm-hmm. People said, "Oh, Will Ospreay, why did they put him with Jericho and this and that and blah blah blah." And then they had the match of the night. What show was that?
That was All In.
All In. At All In, they had the match of the night. So you can't sleep on Chris Jericho because he'll go out there and still have the match of the night sometimes. So don't sleep on Chris Jericho.
Wait, so what do you think it is?
Man, I don't know. Like you said, all I can think of are like diabolical things. Yeah. I have no idea.
It's been so evil for so long.
Yeah, I can't even think of like a guess of something positive that Chris Jericho might do for Hook. I don't know.
Maybe he'll bring back the Festival of Friendship.
Yeah. Proposition for Hook.
Let's be best friends.
I don't know. He's got the FTW title.
Mm-hmm.
Proposition for him. I don't know. I have no idea. No idea.
The only thing I can think of is a faction. Unless he's going to start petitioning for him and Hook to take on whoever wins the AEW tag titles. Like, if his proposition is let's stay a team and together we can try and win the titles from whoever.
Are they not in the tournament?
They're not in the tournament.
Oh.
Well, or if they are in the tournament, they're not moving on.
No, that could be.
Because the 4 matches that are coming up, they're not in any of them.
Well, that could be possible. Try and, like you said, try and stay together and win the tag team titles.
Yeah, from whoever wins the tournament.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Oh. Mind Runner said they could go after the ROH tag titles. It's a good call. They could wrestle a Super Card of Honor for them.
There you go.
That way there's more matches for Super Card of Honor.
Kingdom versus Jericho and Hook.
I like it.
There you go.
I would be super against Jericho and Hook.
Jericho's going to give him Mitch the Plant.
I don't know Mitch the Plant.
It's a WWE thing.
Says
they should go after the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. But yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. Like you said, a new faction, telling them to let's stay together and go after the tag team titles.
Mhm.
I was thinking it might have something to do with Taz, because Chris Jericho, he's been so much about. He said several times about Hook's connection with his father Taz, and about how much he respects Taz. So I figured it might somehow have something to do with Taz.
Like what?
I don't know.
Okay.
But that was one of my thoughts. That's all I got. Yeah. I mean, you think of proposition of being a manager, but like you said, Chris Jericho's not retiring.
No.
He's not going to be his manager.
Yeah.
But what could it be? I don't know. I'm very interested to see what it is. What this proposition is on Wednesday. All right. Up next, where's this going? We have a new TNT champion, Adam Copeland, in a hard-fought match. So, who deserves title shots at Adam Copeland's TNT title?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say whoever accepts the Cope Open challenge that he's put out for Collision.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, but who should be? Like, if you're booking it, who should it be, really?
Man, do you give him like a softball after that insane match he was just in? He's old. Does he need time to like rest between matches?
No, don't give him a softball.
Okay. Well, he already has a belt. I want to say Kyle Fletcher just because I want to see a Kyle Fletcher versus Adam Copeland match, but he's already got a belt, so I don't know if it makes total sense for him to go after another one. I just want to see more Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Why not?
He's so good.
Yeah. He's great.
He's like never on TV wrestling.
Yeah.
It's upsetting.
It is. It's weird.
I'm hoping now that Will Ospreay's here, that's going to change.
Yeah, he's on TV like once a month or something.
Not even. We saw him in this match with Will Ospreay, but before that, I couldn't even tell you the last time he had a match on TV.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I'm assuming he's wrestling on Ring of Honor. We don't watch Ring of Honor right now, but I would hope anyway that he's defending that television title there. Who would you pick?
One of the first ones I would pick is Daniel Garcia.
I think that they will do that. I just felt like that shouldn't be the first one.
I think that should be one of the first ones.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely. Garcia's been gunning for that title, and Copeland, I think, didn't he say he would give him a shot at the title?
He did, yeah.
So that should be one of the first ones, Daniel Garcia, definitely.
So I think that should be like a dynasty one.
Well, that may be one of his first defenses.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be, really. We're a month out or so. Mind Runner here, he says Copeland needs to do what Cody did and keep the Cope Open going for a while and bring top indie talent in.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. That's for sure. Oh,
I got another one.
Okay.
Roosh. He's supposedly all healed up and can come back on TV. I feel like that would be a good, fun way to bring him back, Cope Open.
Mm-hmm.
And have like a good, solid match where he still loses, but he like, it's iffy for a while, Not like a quick squash match, but like a good, well thought match.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got?
And I'm going to say the same question. We got another new champion, Okada, the Continental Champion. So who have you got facing him for the belt?
Oh, God, I don't know. kind of want to say Jericho. I don't know if it's just because we've been talking about him, or if because like, I guess I'm viewing him as a Callis family member, and he's not. He's part of the Elite. But like the Elite were feuding with Jericho, or at least the Young Bucks were feuding with Jericho and Omega before Omega went out sick. You know.
Mm.
So I was thinking of like, how is there a sort of storyline happening already with someone in the Elites, and that's the only one I could really think of. So I'm gonna say Jericho. Or maybe Hangman, if Hangman's ready to move on from the world title scene.
Well, I'm not sure when he'll be back. Do we know when he'll be back? No.
He's not injured, right? It's personal issues.
Yeah, it's a some family issue or something. Okada. Well, personally, one I would like to see is Rob Van Dam come in and face Okada. I think that would be interesting, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But besides bringing someone new, you know, besides bringing someone from the outside in,
I like how both of us picked like 50-year-old men to wrestle.
Bryan Danielson versus Okada, you know, I think would be awesome.
Yeah, I thought of that too. I wish Danielson hadn't said like on the record that he doesn't want any belts in AEW.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Britt Baker, because now anytime they have a match for a belt, like I already know, no matter who it is, that they're 99% they're gonna lose. You know.
Mm-hmm. And here, Mind Runner said RVD versus Okada would smoke. It should be RVD's match on 420. Yeah, maybe. RVD versus Okada, I would love to see that for real. That would be, their styles are so different, but I think would work so well together. It would be, I mean, it would be a classic.
Yeah.
It would be a classic. I'm the first to admit I'm not very knowledgeable about Japanese wrestling. But so I don't know if they've faced each other before, RVD and Okada. So that may be a first. I don't know. Here he says, what about LFI versus Elite leading to Rush versus Okada? There you go.
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
it'd be nice if they put LFI on television. Mm. Yeah, I don't understand why LFI. They gave them this big push and all these like cinematic hype videos. Yeah. And all these cinematic hype videos. Oh, right.
Yeah,
when's he coming back?
He's cleared. He
said,
He said
okay,
weeks ago that
I remember that.
So I don't know. Yeah, he tore, I want to say his hamstring. He tore something in his leg during the Continental Classic. Mm-hmm. But then he continued to wrestle in the other Continental Classic matches till he finished out the tournament. But then he's been gone with injury. But he said on Twitter, like several weeks ago at this point, almost a month ago, I would say, that he's cleared. But yeah, that's a great idea. That's great.
Yeah, but it would be nice to see LFI back on television, which hopefully will happen soon.
It's weird that they didn't move ahead with Dralistico and Preston Vance as like a tag team while Rush was out. Yeah. Just to like keep their name in front of people.
Yeah. Maybe they have plans for the stable as a whole, and they didn't want to break the team off and mess up the plans, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I can think about it. You know, that's the only thing I can think that makes sense why they would keep them out of competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're just holding them back because they already had a story for the stable. So that would make sense.
They gotta learn how to pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah, too many people get injured too frequently to stay steadfast to your plan for a story if it means putting it on hold for
He
months.
says maybe Penta versus Okada. Yeah,
Ooh, that'd be good.
I'll be for that Continental title match.
Mm-hmm.
While
Or
we're
wait,
at it,
didn't Pac come out?
Yeah.
When he won, Pac came out.
There we go. Pac versus Okada.
Yeah.
Pac versus Okada for sure.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah. It'd be an awesome match.
I forgot he was back.
It'd be an awesome match.
Awesome. That's a great idea. Yeah.
And while we're at it, let's throw the other Death Triangle member in there. Ray Phoenix versus Okada. Yeah.
When he comes back.
When he comes
Well,
back.
it should be soon, I think.
Yeah.
Because he's got, well, it's May. He has a match scheduled for.
Cinco de Mayo. He has a match scheduled for. Yeah.
For GCW?
I forget what company it is.
What's the Glory? House of Glory.
House of Glory. That's what it is. Yeah. That's right. But yeah, for Okada, man, the list could go on, and just that's the thing with him. It was such a cool signing because the list, like we're showing, the list just goes on, and you just keep adding. It's like, oh wow, that's a cool match. Oh wow, that's awesome. Oh, that'd be great. And it's like almost literally the entire AEW roster. You add a name, and it's like, oh, that would be great. Just see versus Okada, you know. It shows what an amazing wrestler that guy is, and still, you know, doing it at an older age. You know, he's not Chris Jericho old, but he's an older guy.
Let's not make a level Chris Jericho old. I feel like that's insulting.
Yeah, it is insulting. Yeah,
we don't mean that.
Well, we were just talking about it, so that's all. I'm just using it as a point of reference. Mind Runner here says Okada must face the entire triangle in a gauntlet.
I like it.
That'd be tough.
I just thought of too because
tough. That'd be awesome though. That'd be cool.
I was thinking like, oh, it would be cool to face like Zack Sabre Jr. or someone from a different company, but he just came from New Japan. But I wonder if part of the reason why they're talking about putting CMLL as part of Forbidden Door this year is because they've signed so many people from Japan recently. You know? Like they got Ospreay, they got Okada.
And
those are two of the biggest Forbidden Door matches that they've had in the past.
Yes.
So now they can, since they're already in AEW, instead of bringing people from Japan that they've already faced, they can bring people from Mexico that they haven't faced yet.
Yeah, Forbidden Door this year is going to be a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah.
I want to see Hechicero for sure come back. That guy.
That's what made me think of it.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah.
In his match with Bryan Danielson, that was a terrific match.
Well, it'd be cool to see him versus Okada. That's what made me think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way he, handled fire and his entrance, very cool. Had an aura about him with doing magic on the way to the ring. With
a
fire.
Little ball of fire in his hands.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, that was the dude with the fireball entrance. Yeah, Mind Runner was asking. Yeah. That dude was awesome. Yeah, Hechicero. Can't wait for him to come back and see some more of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, the CMLL guys, all of them so far have been nothing but great for AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to see some more participation between AEW and CMLL. It's been nothing but good so far. And Forbidden Door, to get off topic of Okada, it's fine. Forbidden Door this year is going to rock with CMLL and New Japan and AEW coming together, and maybe Stardom, as they've talked about. And wow, it's going to be a great show.
It's an awesome time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. So I think that's the extent of where's this going this week. We only had one TV show. I didn't have a lot of drama. So now it's time for the top. Top 5. The the top 5. The AEW top 5 rankings. We come out with them weekly. We strive for excellence. The formula will never be revealed. We will take it to our graves.
Wait, what kind of grave?
Our watery graves.
That was terrible.
Watery graves.
Okay. Let's start with the teams.
I wasn't done talking about our rankings.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were pausing for a really long time, so I thought you needed me to pick.
They're 100% accurate. They're
undisputed, like the Undisputed Kingdom.
They're undisputed. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So go buy them. They're time tested, and I think you'll agree with them as well. So these are the rankings for this week, March 25th, 2024. And start with what?
Teams.
Number 5, the Infantry, who are just got a win in the World Tag Team Title Tournament. They beat
The House of Black.
They beat the House of Black after getting their asses kicked by the House of Black for most of the match. They did end up winning.
That was last week.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
Number 4, Lion Hook, still together, and they last week beat who'd they beat? Beat someone last week.
Was it a real team or like a fake team?
No, they beat a real team, I think.
You keep going. I'll look at it.
Anyways, I'll keep going. Number 3, House of Black, the team of Buddy Matthews and Brody King. Number 3. Number 2, Blackpool Combat Club, the team of John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. And the number 1 team this week, the Trios team of the Elite, the Young Bucks and Okada. Pretty tough to go against that team. They've been kicking ass in the few matches they've had since Okada has arrived. But they've been kicking ass. And I'll tell you what's interesting. In the teams this week, for the first time ever, there are no champions in the top 5. The AEW Trios champions, the acclaimed Daddy Ass, are not here. The AEW World Tag Team titles are vacant. And then
The 6-man.
the 6-man are the Bullet Club Gold, but they haven't been defending them.
And the Undisputed Kingdom.
And then Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles are the Undisputed Kingdom, and they haven't been defending them. Really.
Mm-hmm.
So, no champions in the team's top 5. First time that's ever happened.
They were on my list.
Well, they didn't make the top 5.
They didn't make the cut.
All right, so what's next? Men or women?
Let's do men.
All right, top 5 men. Number 5, falling down the list a little bit from where he's been, Swerve Strickland. Number 4, he's been very hot lately. The FTW champion, Hook. Everywhere you look, you see him in AEW. Number 3, he has won everything he has touched since he's been in AEW, including the AEW Continental Championship. He is Okada. Number 3. So number 3 in the men's rankings and number 1 in the team's rankings as well is Okada. Number 2, the new TNT champion, Adam Copeland. And staying number 1, the AEW World Champion Samoa Joe. So you got number 1, Samoa Joe, number 2, Adam Copeland, number 3, Okada, number 4, Hook, number 5, Swerve Strickland. And so now for the women. Number 5, Mariah May. Number 4, Willow Nightingale. Number 3, Deonna Purrazzo, who looks like she's going to challenge Toni Storm again for the world title. Probably a dynasty, I think.
How does that work? Sorry, not to interrupt our list. But, like, she had her match and she lost. Oh, because of the interference? Is that how she's getting her another shot?
I believe so, yes. Number 2, the AEW TBS champion, Julia Hart of the House of Black. And staying number 1, the AEW Women's World Champion, Toni Storm. So you got number 1, Toni Storm, number 2, Julia Hart, number 3, Deonna Purrazzo, number 4, Willow Nightingale, and number 5, Mariah May. And those are your AEW top 5 rankings for this week. Mindrunner says, I bet we have a Thunder versus Deonna match, and the winner gets the title shot.
That'd be awesome. I would be all for that.
Yeah, I would be for that. And yeah, Thunder Rosa did not make the rankings this week. So now it's time for the ever-popular segment, Wrestling Fashion Do's and Don'ts with Kay Fabulous. So Kay, take it away. Do.
If you are a CEO, definitely do wear knee-high fringed red boots, especially to distract from your very odd hair, like Mercedes Moné.
Don't.
If you are one of the EVPs, don't wear a white sports coat with 3 brown buttons and awkwardly placed buttonholes where the lapels should be, like Matthew Jackson.
Do.
If you are a mad king, do let everyone know it by wearing an awesome black duster with it emblazoned on the back like Eddie Kingston.
Do.
If you're a top-notch interviewer, do wear a magenta bolero jacket that looks like it has been rolled in pink sugar crystals, like Renee Paquette.
Do.
If you are a rated R superstar, do show up to a match that is 40 years in the making in your native Canada wearing NHL Maple Leaf colors and sporting the iconic leaves in several places like Adam Copeland. And that is this week's fashion do's and don'ts.
Thank you, Kay. We appreciate it, as always.
So what's up next?
Now it's time for the AEW News Roundup. All right. Saturday Night Collision ratings averaged 393,000 viewers, down 8% from the previous week. Drew a .12 rating in the 18 through 49 demo, down 7.7% from the last week. Not good. Got to do something to get these ratings going back in the right direction. Said Asa should do his best blue steel look when he says do or don't. I don't get that. I don't know what blue steel is. I
think
gotta
that's from
say.
Zoolander, isn't it?
I don't know. I never saw that movie.
What?
Never saw it.
Oh my God, we're gonna fix that.
I never saw it.
Awesome.
I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure that's what that's from. Let me know if I'm wrong. Mindrunner.
What's her name? Matt Hardy's wife, Rebby Hardy.
I've only ever read it.
Posted on social media that she and Matt Hardy recently attended WWE Raw while in Raleigh, North Carolina. Matt Hardy's AEW contract ends this month and is currently under negotiation.
Can I add something to that
Okay.
that I read about after I wrote down all the news?
Yeah.
So Matt Hardy took to social media to say that he was really just having a date night with his wife. And while they were out to dinner, one of her friends texted that they had a skybox at Raw. They got there at like 9 and stayed for like 40 minutes. But people could see into the skybox and saw that he was there. And he was like, oh my God, they're going to make such a big deal out of this because my contract's up soon and people know it. And like a line formed to take photos with him. But he said that it was just like they were in Raleigh. Camden is right near there. They wanted to hang out with their friends, that it wasn't meant to be anything more than that. And that social media just kind of blew up when they saw that he was there.
See. Well, we will see. On NBC Boston, after Big Business, Tony explained why the signing of Monet, how do we say it? Monet.
That's how she says it. I could be wrong.
Is so important to AEW and why she is perfect to be the face of AEW, praising her both for her wrestling and charisma, also citing her love of the fans. Adam Copeland said ahead of his TNT title match on Dynamite that this I Quit match against Christian Cage was 40 years in the making. After the match and winning the title, Copeland said the match was, quote, the kind of scenario I dreamed about. It's a pretty cool match. It's definitely a match we'll see on highlight reels, for years and years. Yeah, one of those kind of moments. Sammy Guevara posted a message on his vlog following his AEW suspension, stating, quote, I understand that I am a person who makes mistakes, but I am also a person who has tried to be better. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, Adam Copeland says he thinks Monet is going to have fun with all of the opponents she can face in AEW's women's division. Copeland said it was the appeal of new opponents he's never worked with before. That was one of the reasons he decided to sign with AEW. Tony Khan says Jack Perry is doing, quote, great things in New Japan Wrestling. When Khan asked if we'll see this version of Perry if and when he's back in AEW, Khan said, quote, well, I think you got to stay tuned. The Best Friends team of Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy advanced in the AEW World Tag Team Title Tournament after defeating Powerhouse Hobbs and Kyle Fletcher. The quarterfinals are now set. We have Young Bucks versus Private Party on Dynamite Wednesday. We have FTR versus the Infantry on Collision this Saturday. We have the Undisputed Kingdom versus the Best Friends, date to be determined. And Ricky Starks and Big Bill versus Top Flight, date to be determined.
I hate that they're still a tag team.
Who? Ricky Starks and Big Bill?
Like, you made the mistake. Let's learn from it and move on.
While being interviewed by Bootleg Kev at Rolling Loud, California, Swerve Strickland said, quote, we're building a dynasty now in AEW. For what Monet could do for women's wrestling, not just for AEW, but across the industry, period. It's pivotal. She's a matriarch for that. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, Bryan Danielson said, quote, Will Ospreay is the evolution of professional wrestling. Danielson is set to face Ospreay at AEW Dynasty on April 21st. Cannot wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
AEW Dynamite ratings averaged 800,000 viewers, almost the exact same as Big Business the previous week. It's the third lowest audience total for the show so far in 2024. Drew a .27 in the 18 through 49 demo, same as the previous 2 weeks. When compared to the same week in 2023, Dynamite was down 16.1% in overall viewers and 18.2% in the 18 through 49 demo. Ratings continue to slide and slide, and
What the hell? Like,
I
what's
don't know what they gotta. I
happening?
don't know what they gotta do. I don't know.
Because I feel like the product is
The product's
better
fantastic.
than ever.
Oh, the product, yeah, it's fantastic.
So what's the deal?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand.
Was there basketball on at this point? No, because the play-in tournaments were on, right? Or they don't call them that. What are the tournaments to make it into the brackets?
The play-in games.
Yeah.
Those were on. That might have hurt a little
Yeah.
bit. Might hurt a little bit. In some positive ratings news, Rampage averaged 541,000 viewers airing after Dynamite, and that was up 65.4% from last week in its regular Friday time slot. They did a .18 in the 18 through 49 demo, and that's up 63.6% from last week. Rampage's highest rating since April 14th, 2023.
You know what that says? Not that I think they should do a 3-hour show, but with those ratings, they should drop Rampage and make Dynamite a 3-hour show.
You think so?
Yeah. Up 65%.
Well, it only did 541,000. So think about it. If they make Dynamite a 3-hour show, then its rating would be even worse than it is now, because it would average fewer viewers.
Averaging fewer viewers. Yeah. Good call.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Never mind.
Adam Copeland has issued a Cope Open challenge for AEW TNT title for Saturday's Collision. We'll see who it is. Jack Perry disputes both the claim that he apologized for the CM Punk fight and that he was denied a release request from AEW. He said he waited for 2 months after All In for Tony Khan to make initial contact, and that after an AEW return in December was scrapped, Tony Khan and Rocky Romero helped set up his current run in New Japan. During his Twitch stream, Kenny Omega named Kurt Angle as his favorite wrestler ever and the most complete wrestler of all time. I can see that. Mm-hmm. Angle replied to a clip of the stream on X by saying, quote, "Much respect, Kenny. Hope to meet you one day. Hashtag it's true." Jake the Snake Roberts re-signs his contract with AEW for another year-long contract.
Yay.
Excellent. Yeah. Love seeing Jake the Snake. Love seeing him. April 6th Collision will be taped on April 3rd and will air on the 6th at 11:30 due to the NCAA Final Four. It is also night one of WrestleMania. So if you're watching that, you can watch night one of WrestleMania, and then when it's over, watch Collision at 11:30 at night.
Or more importantly, you can watch the NCAA Final Four tournament.
Yeah.
And then watch Collision.
Yeah. I'll be watching the Final Four and then watching Collision. Yeah. Oh, and that's it for our news. That's it for the news this week. So, folks, thank you for watching. Or if you're listening to this a couple days later, thank you for listening very much. We appreciate your viewership, your listenership very much. Please spread the word about the show. If you have friends who like AEW or love it like we do, like you do, please spread the word. We would like more listeners, more viewers. So please spread the word and like and subscribe on, if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. The likes really make a difference. So please hit like, please, and subscribe so you don't miss any content. We are going to have some new content coming very soon. Some new content that isn't just a weekly show. We're going to have some new content on the way very soon here. So you don't want to miss it. And Mindrunner is asking, do you all have Twitter, X, or Insta? Yeah, so our X handle is No Bones Wrestling. So it's No Bones, RASSLIN.
And
No Bones Wrestling.
Mine's Kay Fabulous 80 on X.
Yeah.
And you have an Instagram too, don't you?
Yeah, and the Instagram I think is just called. It might just be called No Bones About Wrestling.
That's something we should probably
just
know.
search. Yeah, just search. I don't use the Instagram much, but we're gonna start using the Instagram. But I think it's just called No Bones About Wrestling. But there's nothing there, so you know what? You're not gonna find anything there yet. Anyway.
Sorry, we'll be better about that.
But yeah, we do use Twitter, X, whatever you call it. We use that a lot, and so that's where we make a lot of announcements for what show is going to be on what time and things like that. And I post daily news on there as well. So, and then if you just want to talk to me, that's a good place. Talk to me. I'm on there a lot. So it's at No Bones Wrestling, RASSLIN. But yeah, folks, the time has come to say goodbye. But as I said, we are going to have some new content coming. It's not just the weekly show, but of course the weekly show is going to keep going. Tonight we were on at 7. That seemed to work well for how many of you are watching. But next week we're going to be back on at 6 o'clock, our regular time. So until then, thank you very much for watching. And as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.